Sometimes in life there are silences, silences that cannot be seen from the outside, but inside they slowly begin to break a person apart. And maybe today, as you are listening to this story, there is a silence like that hidden somewhere in your heart. Maybe you have never told anyone. Maybe you kept smiling in front of everyone, but deep inside, you always felt that no one truly understands you, and the pain becomes even deeper when the people who should understand you the most are the very ones who cannot, your own family. But today, I want to tell you a story that does not only contain your story, but another story hidden inside it, a story that many people read in the Bible, yet very few truly notice its depth, because very few people realize that even Jesus sometimes walked through the same loneliness that perhaps you are experiencing today. And maybe that is why this story will reach your heart, as if it was written especially for you. Imagine for a moment, it is a quiet night. The stars are shining far away in the sky. Everything around you is silent, but within that silence, someone's heart feels incredibly heavy. That person could be you. You're sitting in your room. The lights are dim. Your phone is on silent, and thousands of thoughts are moving through your mind. Why does no one understand me? Why is it that when I speak honestly, people misunderstand me? Why are the people closest to me the ones who judge me the most? Maybe you remember the first time you shared what was truly in your heart with your family. You thought they would understand. You thought they would hold you close. You thought they would say, "We are with you." But instead, you received questions, suspicion, and sometimes even mockery. Sometimes it felt like you were there with them, but not truly among them, as if you were a person from a completely different world. And in that moment, a small voice rises from deep inside your heart. Is something wrong with me? That question is dangerous because slowly a person begins to doubt themselves. They begin to silence their own truth. They begin to bury their own voice. But today, I want to tell you a secret. Throughout history, the people who chose to follow truth, the people who listened to the voice inside their hearts, the people who felt the calling of God, many of them were first misunderstood by the people closest to them. And if you read the Bible carefully, you will notice something very surprising. Jesus, the one before whom billions of people bow today, was also misunderstood by his own people at times. Think about that moment. A small town called Nazareth, ordinary people, simple homes. And in that place, a young man was growing up, a man who carried within him a purpose the world could not yet understand. He was growing, learning, working among people. But deep inside his heart, there was a calling that only God truly understood. And maybe something similar is happening in your life. Sometimes God places dreams inside our hearts, ideas, sensitivities, visions that the people around us simply cannot understand. They think, "You've changed. You're strange. You think too much." But they do not realize that perhaps a divine seed has been planted inside your heart. And every divine seed, at the beginning, brings loneliness, because what God is creating inside you is still invisible to others. That is why one day Jesus stood in his own town, and people said about him, "Isn't this the son of Joseph?" There was a strange doubt hidden in their words. They were still looking at him with the same old perspective. They could not understand that the man standing in front of them was not just the son of a carpenter. He was something more, something far greater than their imagination. And maybe the same thing is happening in your life. People are still seeing you in the same old way, the way you used to be. But they cannot see that God is creating something new inside you. And that hurts deeply, because we want the people closest to us to understand us. But many times, understanding comes last. First comes misunderstanding. First comes rejection. First comes loneliness. And inside that loneliness, a person can either break or transform. One night, perhaps a night very much like this one, Jesus stood alone on a mountain. Darkness surrounded him. The air was cold, and far below, the faint lights of the town could be seen. But why was he there? Because sometimes, even in the middle of a crowd, a person must go somewhere alone to speak with God, because that is the only place where we are truly understood. You know, the Bible says in one place that Jesus often withdrew to lonely places to pray. Why? Because there no one judges you. There, no one misunderstands you. There, it is only you and God. And when a person reaches that place, slowly, they begin to realize that maybe their pain is not meaningless. Maybe their misunderstanding, their rejections, are part of their story. And maybe that is exactly where you are right now. Maybe the people around you do not understand you. Maybe your decisions are constantly being questioned. Maybe you feel like you are alone. But sometimes, loneliness is not a punishment. Sometimes it is preparation, because God often separates those people whom He is preparing for a greater purpose. And that preparation is never easy. It contains tears. It contains nights without sleep. It contains questions that echo in the heart. But slowly, in the middle of all that, a new voice begins to rise, a voice that says, "Do not be afraid, I am with you." And one day, Jesus spoke those same words to His disciples, but before that, He Himself had walked through the same road. He also saw people misunderstanding Him. He also felt that sometimes even those close to Him did not stand beside Him, but He did not give up, because He knew truth takes time. And maybe this is the same season in your life, a season where people do not understand you, but God sees you, a season where people judge you, but God is shaping you. And maybe this story came into your life today to remind you that your pain is not wasted. Your loneliness is not meaningless. Your silent prayers are reaching God. And one day, when you look back, you will realize that the time when you felt no one understood you was the very time when God understood you the most. And maybe in that very season, the greatest story of your life was being written. If, while listening to this story, you felt something move inside your heart, if you felt that somewhere this story resembles your own life, then make sure to like this video so that this message can reach more people who may be going through the same loneliness. Write in the comments below, "I am not alone." And if you want to hear more deep, heart-touching stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because sometimes a single story becomes the light that begins to bring hope back into the heart of someone standing in the darkness. And maybe that light has just begun to shine in your heart today.